Still in the... Live with an uncontrollable case of expanding playoffs. It's the Vocal Minority Podcast.
Is there cream for that?
Playoffs everywhere.
Ask if too many playoffs is right for you. That's your doctor. I screwed that up. I'm leaving it in.
It's okay, so have they. Well, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Vocal Minority Podcast, the podcast that can't wait to watch the MLS home version of the World Cup. Wait, what? No, seriously. On this week's show, we talk about a lot of playoffs, not one, but two different leagues. Oh, yes, we got your playoffs. Find out who the Canadian women drew in next year's World Cup. Ooh. Talk some TFC, yes, them, and more. Now this week's panel. Honestly, he can't wait to have more MLS games to ignore. Welcome to Duncan Fletcher.
And especially that they're all going to be on Apple TV. So many games to ignore. So many games to ignore.
Still high from Sunday. Say hello to Mark Hinckley.
I mean, I wouldn't say high, but I'm still riding that roller coaster. It's we're in mid loop, and I hope it never ends. I mean,
make sure your seatbelt's fastened.
Oh yeah, no, I only go on the ones with the shoulder guard things because.
Oh, okay, that's wise.
I'm a big coward, so.
Feeling better about our Zazzle store since no one seems to be able to get players' image rights. It's Tony Walsh.
I'm trying to figure out who to draw in the World Cup too.
Like badly drawn Panini?
I'll draw the French team like they're my French team.
Oh.
Draw them like your French girls?
Thank you.
Draw them like one of my French teams.
Draw me like a French defender.
I've never watched Titanic.
Lies.
No, true story.
Really?
Yeah, I know it for meme. I know it for memes. That's all.
Tony, there's
it's very meme-tastic, but really,
you will never guess what happens in the end. Never.
I'm waiting for the sequel.
It's funny. You know what? We saw it, but my ex-boyfriend insisted we go see it. He very much wanted to see this movie.
Look, Tony, there's only three things in that movie you need to see. Okay.
Yeah.
One is when the guy is falling off the top end of the Titanic and he hits a rudder and it makes a big noise, and Kate Winslet. So that's all you need to see. Full disclosure, I love Kate Winslet. I love.
You know what, Mark? I'm not even going to argue with that because Kate Winslet, and I won't argue. So
she is a timeless, fine piece of woman, and
she's not Gillian Anderson, but she's close.
I would take her over Gillian Anderson like 100 times.
You know, that's fine. You leave Gillian Anderson for me then.
That's all yours. But
which one of them makes a better Bing noise though?
Don't know.
Well,
don't know.
That's a private matter right there.
I do.
Anyway,
Bing.
Moving on.
It's Wayne's World.
Oh no. We haven't even really started the show yet.
As for you.
Anyway, as for me, I'm still laughing over Cincy calling out the CSA. I am your host, Kristin. Now to our show.
That's why she's the GOAT.
She really is. It's delightful. All right. Well, what's been happening? This is going to be, I say short.
Lies.
Potentially short for us because the what we're talking about section is massive this week because there's so much to talk about. So let's get into this.
Don't mention any random animals.
True.
Well, that goes for the three of you too. Thank you very much.
We follow your lead, host.
Since when do you follow my lead? Whatever you say, Tony. Whatever you say. All right.
It's like an improv thing. You just like say a word and then we'll run with it.
Oh, it's gone. Yeah.
You know.
It's like yes and. Oh, good.
Yeah, no animals were accosted in the opening of this podcast this time.
This time, that's true.
And is a funny word when you think about it.
Stop it. Okay, so CanPL playoffs. All right, so the CanPL, whatever regional, the regional finals, the semifinals. They don't really have regional finals. The semifinals were on the weekend on Sunday, and we now know who will be in the CanPL final this coming Sunday.
We knew last week. We said it.
CanPL has, they've actually managed to. I think both of these matches had some good drama to them. It was, at least for brief moments, uncertain as to what was going to happen, because the Aquamen, they made a game of it. They actually they played the game they probably should have played the week before. They actually scored, which was nice to see. But alas, a 1-1 draw saw them fall 3-1 on aggregate to the Atleti, who honestly have just been running away with pretty much everything for the last couple months. But again, at the very least, it was an enjoyable match. It was a great crowd. Both matches had great crowds. That was very nice to see the participation and the fans coming out. But Pacific just never really seemed to get everything clicking. Even with the goal, they couldn't hold them off. They couldn't get that second goal. They really needed the second goal. First half of that for them, though, definitely you could see that they were like, you know what? We know we screwed up the week before, but we have an opportunity here. And it was a bit surprising to see them be as involved as opposed to the way it had been in the previous match on their home turf, as it were. But yeah, and it's always weird to see, it's one of those, whenever they play the Atleti, they're playing against some of their former players, because again, Pacific gave away so much of their team last season. But yeah, so Atleti, not surprisingly, they were well in control of this tie, so they've advanced to the final. But this was a fun one. I do recommend watching the highlights. There was some good stuff that happened in that particular match, at least for me. But then, of course, the sort of the bigger of the two matches was
okay.
Well, in the sense that
because
it was more up in the
go
air
on.
in what was going to happen. Going into the tie, nothing much really was going on. But
Kristin Knowles, only Forge matches matter.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
No. For me, obviously I wanted the Pacific to win, but I didn't really think they were going to.
Because then you could go see the Kristin Derby.
I know.
The trophy in Hamilton.
I know.
But they couldn't score a second goal because they blew it at home. Look, yep. I'm still mad that Pacific screwed up a perfectly good opportunity for a Hamilton hosted final.
I know, right? Seriously.
Has it still not been one of those?
I don't know what it's like yet.
Okay.
Bubbles,
Calgary.
But the thing about the match between the Handies and the Pony Boys were the red cards.
Oh my God.
Like, who cares about the goals, really?
What?
There was two red cards in this match.
What a
Both
shit
of them
show.
hotly contested.
What a shit show.
So again, we all know I'm not Kyle Becker's biggest fan. So this isn't malice.
No.
But that was a stupid thing he did. And to me, that was a red card. And I would say that about any player, because it's not that the other player was coming directly to you. Can't not see the player running at you when you whip your leg up into the air like that. Like, it's not like he suddenly appeared out of nowhere. He wasn't transported in front of Becker. It was just I don't think it was malicious. I don't think he was like, I'm going to kick this asshole in the head and get myself knocked out of the final because I'm stupid. No, I think it was just a stupid thing he did.
It was careless.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was because, I mean, he wasn't going all sort of, Eric Cantona, right, I'm going to try and kick this guy in the head.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. Okay. It was just dumb. It was just a dumb, he just wasn't thinking. Like, he just wasn't mindful of what was happening. Well, no, I don't think there was...
I would disagree because the replay shows as he's going towards the ball, he looks at the Calgary player like he sees that they're like he's going in, but I guess he thought maybe because I'm making the eye contact that should tell him I'm going for this ball, and like you see his head go down before it goes up into the air to track the ball.
That's interesting.
Like, I definitely don't think he was trying to kick him in the head. I think he was trying to gauge how much of a clearance he's going to get, but then at the same time too, like I feel like the angle doesn't show whether the Calgary player looked at him, but he was kind of looking for it. Is it a red card? More than likely, yes. Is it a yellow card? Without question, because it was dangerous.
Oh, 100% is a yellow card. No one can argue that. And if anyone did, shut up. Just sit down and never speak again.
I'm not so much mad at it. Like I was mad at it at the time, but like because I don't want to see the captain get sent off.
No, of course not.
But he had to go. And not sending him off would be more contentious than him getting sent off. So I think that was the right call, but then there was the other one.
Yeah, I still don't think so. I mean, yeah, I don't think he was trying to deliberately kick the guy in the head. It was a high boot and what have you. It was dangerous play. But that's a yellow card all the time. He wasn't deliberately trying to kick the guy in the head.
A high boot is almost...
It should be a red card.
High boot's almost always a red card, though, Duncan.
No, it isn't. That's a yellow card standard. Yeah. The game's gone if that's a red card. Always standard.
Oh, God, here we go.
Game's gone.
Duncan, do you want to talk about numbers now?
I feel like I'm making a very valid point. This is
I know. I'm just teasing you.
Whatever, waving his fist at a cloud thing. It's all right.
If you don't believe Duncan that the game's gone, just check VAR.
Oh God! All right.
He was, going for the ball. It was dangerous. Yellow card. Move on. The second one. Oof.
Second one. Oof, indeed. That I don't. I still don't understand. Does anyone have like a plausible explanation?
What I kind of saw was the Hamilton guy kind of jumping at the pony boy, and the pony boy just kind of pushing him back as he was jumping at him, and then that was a red card. Is it?
I know. I watched I was like, how he's defending, but what? I still don't get that one. And sure, whatever. There's no point in contesting it because the season's over for them. But man, that looked bad. And Whedon got kicked out for that as well, right? For protesting, did he not? Did I imagine that?
He was very angry after the game, but I don't know if he...
maybe he got fined. Well. Maybe he got fined. Maybe he got a red card for the beginning of next season. Who knows?
I think when Calgary got their red card, he was getting 2 yellow cards back to back. Because the first thing in the box, that was nothing. He got the ball, sure. But then he looked like he went to go try to nutsack somebody. And that was the first yellow. And then he 2-handed pushed the other guy. And that's the other yellow. Because it was like 2 stupid things back to back. Because he was like, I don't know. Oh, he was. Sorry, I'm seeing now. I didn't realize he was booked earlier in the match.
Yeah, the whole thing. Anyways, it was just the fact that any of the fault really would lay on him in this case. And so that's, I think, where a lot of the ire for Calgary fans and coaching staff and so on and so forth lay.
Nutsack.
Yeah.
The CPL Planters Nutsack of the Week.
Wait, is there a Canadian nut brand?
Canadian nuts? I don't know.
Other than President's Choice, because fuck them.
Like Yorkie
President's
just
choice. Fuck them.
Sorry, what, Duncan?
Yorkie just needs a monocle, and he could be a Mr.
God, you're
Peanuts
right.
type mascot. There, he's got the head shape for it.
He could be a pistachio.
There you go. Yeah, he's got the colour for that.
Shout out to York 9,
Yes.
or whatever we call them. Sorry, why you York United? Why you guys for the Yorkie feature?
An incredible documentary.
That was magical. That
fucking better than it should be from a team that didn't make the playoffs.
exactly.
Like, what the hell? Like, okay, I don't know if York Admin listens to this or if he's in contact with those people. I've already gave my praise on the Twitters.
As did
Phenomenal.
I. But wow,
It was incredibly done. It was like they didn't shy away from like the Forge having the mask, the Barton Street Battalion having the mask, and like just like they were right in on the joke as if it were like they were part
everybody's
of
joke. Yeah, like it was like an orchestrated thing. Oh yeah, no, it was fucking brilliant.
like just down to the cinematography, the interviews, the voiceover, the
The interview.
anonymity thing. Like, I mean, it was just beautiful. And why that person isn't doing everybody's social meds is really like you have a star on your hand.
Yeah, whoever it is that is running York United social media for the last 2 years, or the last year and a half. Like Agnes McNabb, good job.
Yeah,
but you are not paying this person enough.
Nobody has got
a shit
anything
ton
on
more money.
No one has anything on York's socials. Nobody.
No, not even
Like,
a patch.
It's not like it's the gap between them and whoever you consider is next is quite.
I don't know. Maybe Winnipeg. Winnipeg can be pretty decent sometimes with their
Halifax's
socials.
guy does an okay job too.
Yeah. Occasionally Victoria, like Pacific's guy's okay.
I know is terrible, and it's fucking Forges.
It's so bad. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say it, Mark.
I
Thank you
would
for
say
saying
Edmonton's
it.
would probably be better. Whoever has the phone that day. That's how bad.
I find Hamilton's just to be very obvious and sort of regimented.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
Corporate shit. Like there's no personality in it whatsoever. And
Edmonton's
I want it to have
MySpace is
personality.
amazing.
What's their wallpaper?
Toasters? I don't know.
Thank you for getting that, though. That hits a very specific segment. It's not even really us.
What?
Well, MySpace.
I was never on it. I don't know.
No, I know. I said it's not really us.
Tony,
I just know
like
enough.
3 things about MySpace you need.
I know
to
enough about it. Everyone had that guy as their friend. Who was it? They had the same
Tom.
friend. I could never have known his name. I don't know. Sure. I believe you. Be confident. Tom sounds right. I am full of that. Yes.
You're full of Tom?
That came out so
Good for you.
nicely.
Good for you. Happy for you, Kristin.
It was about time. It's true. It's been a really long dry spell. I'm gonna.
Congrats to you and your new bow.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll send out the invites.
Which one of you is the MySpace?
That's a private matter. Thank you very much. For that, you need to sign up for our OnlyFans.
There's no way OnlyFans could run on MySpace.
MySpace barely ran on MySpace. It was terrible.
That's true.
I have to copy what now? Fuck this.
So after Sunday's matches, we've got the Odd Letty hosting Hamilton, as is Hamilton in the final, as is tradition. So we'll talk about that more towards the end of the show. MLS playoffs are still happening. It's true, I swear, and it's not the World Cup version yet. You're going to have to wait till I don't know, next year, allegedly. The best match was the El Tráfico because it was hilarious. And
It was
at
all
least
late at night, Kristin. Who was still up to watch that? What time of night? It was like 10 o'clock or something? Ridiculous.
I stayed up to watch it because... Although I admit, I was actually disappointed. I was disappointed it didn't go to penalties. I wanted it to go to penalties because so much was happening. I was like, oh, surely they're going to tie it up again. And then we'll have more penalties within these playoffs. And won't that be fun? And I don't know. I wanted LAFC to win, but it was just one of those matches, but like, everything all compressed into sort of a short window towards the end as everything sort of seemed to happen all at once, and a great crowd and very raucous and all sorts of good things. But so 3-2 winners for Zombie Chivas, moving on to go against Austin Celtic. So weird. I know. And then the Union, Andre Blake. God, he's so freaking talented. Toronto could never hope to prize him away from them ever. But what was, I think,
he's a giant of a goalkeeper.
Yeah, very nice.
You want the peanut?
You don't mean it. What was sort of surprising about that match, though, was the fact that it was only 1-0. Like, again, Philadelphia didn't necessarily have to do as much to beat Cincinnati, but like Cincinnati was, they were a high scoring team through the season, kind of had a bit of a surprising run through the playoffs, although again, they had kind of a surprising season. So I'd actually expected more goals in this, even with Philadelphia's defense and Andre Blake. I just thought that there would be a little more, but they did what they needed to do, and that was really it. I actually didn't see as much of that match as I wanted to. Did anybody else catch it?
Not at all.
I'll go into
it. So, no. We talking about the golf?
Yes.
Oh, no, I missed it.
Oh.
Anyway.
I definitely saw some football this last weekend, but I'm sure I could tell you which one.
Vanarama?
Probably.
No, I did see the Austin versus Dallas. That was on at the same time I was in the room. So yeah, I watched that one. Okay.
I didn't watch that, but I did. Well,
Montreal I watched the Montreal game. Yeah,
I was gonna watch the Montreal game, but it seemed I sort of was. I don't know. I missed the first part of it, and then by the time I went to tune in, I was like, "Oh, it's basically over." What happened? So, Duncan, if you saw the Montreal match, like, did they just completely fall apart? Like, it seemed like
they let in an early goal, but,
and that sort of happens. Just did it.
Then they were just absolutely fucking all over them. Like Montreal were all over New York for the rest of the first half, but Sean Johnson made a lot of good saves. Then New York got another one, kind of like on the break and what have you. And it was 2-0, and then they eventually got a third. And unfortunate. Yeah, they deserve better in that first half. At least it should have been at least 1-1, if not Montreal winning going into half time. But yeah, that's football.
Indeed.
It's a funny old game.
That's Major League Soccer is what that is.
It's funny. I didn't want Montreal to win the cup this year. I don't even know that I didn't want them really to go to the final. Like I want the Union to win just because I like Jim Curtin. I like what he's done with them, all those good things. But as we've discussed, Montreal has been annoyingly likable with their Canadian contingent, Wilfred Nancy, all that stuff. I don't like the Pizza Rats at all. So I kind of wanted Montreal to win this match. So I found myself more disappointed than I expected with the result, I was like, oh, yeah. And then I felt dirty as a Toronto fan because I was sad that Montreal lost. I was like, this is not right. I don't enjoy this feeling.
Yeah, there's no need to hold on to those sorts of pettiness. If you want Montreal to win, support Montreal. That's fine.
Yeah, look how many Canadian other teams you support.
I was waiting for that. Anyway, so the results of the...
You can have 2 or 3 favorite Canadian MLS teams.
I
That's
can.
fine.
Amazing. Yay.
She's a huge Thunder Bay Chill supporter, even.
Yes.
Wow. Who's not? Come on. They're so chill. So we're going
to... chill. They've renamed themselves now.
There's nothing else to do in Thunder Bay, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got Zombie Chivas hosting Austin Celtic and the Union hosting the Pizza Rats this coming weekend, and we will discuss that in a little while. But it's been, it's at least some exciting playoffs for both leagues. Kind of, it's nice to have like enjoyable, exciting football to watch, especially if you're Toronto FC fans.
This is a Martin Bailey kind of question, but how many times have there been Final Four in MLS that didn't include any of the original clubs?
Oh, that's a good question.
I know 2016 was definitely Toronto, Montreal, Seattle, and somebody. I don't know who that fourth somebody was. They might have been an original. I don't know, but...
Intriguing.
Well, that's not helpful at all.
Probably the Galaxy.
75% of the way there. Come on.
Let's just say
Somebody
it's the
can
Galaxy.
research this.
Martin, whenever you get around to listening to this, if you could just let us know, that would be great. We would really appreciate that.
Don't walk into anything. We need to value your protection is paramount.
Playoffs.
Oh, Duncan is researching. Well, Duncan does that.
Yeah. Apparently Colorado lost to Seattle in the semifinals, so 2016 definitely doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, other teams could have. Who knows? Other years,
but
maybe,
still, that is a very interesting question. We will let you know next week.
I'm a very interesting journalist.
That is true. All right. Well, as I said, we've got lots to talk about, so let's dive into that. And before we get into anything actual match related, let's talk about one of our favorite Toronto FC players through the years, one Chris Mavinga. Oh, Chris Mavinga, who, for some reason, last week decided to publicly call out the TI,
Yeah. Here we go. 2019, Seattle won Toronto with the runners-up. Atlanta and Los Angeles FC were the semi-finalists. So 2019, it definitely happened. So at least once.
Okay.
I'm stopping my research now.
No, but that's good research. Well done, Duncan. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, we were talking about something.
We were talking about Chris Mavinga. So,
Duncan's looking him up now.
He plays for Toronto, apparently.
Huh?
Did you guys know? Yeah.
Well, it was so random.
Which of the Congos is he from?
Did he delete it?
Democratic
He deleted
Republic.
the one tweet. Oh, that's too bad.
Is it Dr. Congo?
Anyway, but he tweeted something else. I'd have to look for the screenshot, but the one thing he did put out that's still on his timeline. No. If anyone, he's just loud. Yeah, LMAO. If anyone wants a one-on-one interview on what's going on, my DMs are open. I need to speak out at Toronto FC. And it was like, what? And then the next tweet was like, I like this club, but they will fall with me. And again, Chris's English is not 100%, right? So some things do get a little bit.
I know, but it's a great typo to make.
Oh, it's a fantastic. But the question was, does that mean he's going to burn the club down? Does he mean to say fail without me? Fall with where was he going with this exactly?
I am determined to re-sign with this club, and then we will.
However,
all of us will fail and fall, and oh no.
look, this went from being a comedy to being a thriller. So I can't wait to see what certain set of skills he has take down the cartel from the inside and free everybody from their shackles of oppression.
He's like, oh yeah, even everyone who criticized me all year slide into my DMs. He's like, just because I've been quiet doesn't mean I haven't seen everything you've been saying. You know, and he did a little poke out to Eric Giacometti, who is, you know, who's behind TFC socials. You know, hey Eric, what's up? You know, it was hilarious.
He was actually born in a suburb of Paris. I didn't know that. Wikipedia has his full name as Chris Mavinga -Adebayor.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Adebayor.
Well, doesn't that explain things? So.
That's a way to hide the shame.
That's Wikipedia. Who knows?
Please tell me they're related. Please. And yeah, so like in seeing like some of his replies, and I DM'd him. I was like, "Hey, Chris, are you okay?"
What did Tom have to say about that?
Tom's not on Twitter. It's fine. Anyway, so he's like,
once he gets his dial-up working, he'll let you know.
Fair.
You know, he seems like he was like, you know, thank you for the positive messages. He's like, yeah, I'll speak out soon. I just want the club to do well. I just want things to, you know, the club to succeed. And so like when I messaged him, I was like, you know, again, I'm sorry all the things have been happening with your family, because he's had all his kid and his wife had you know issues and stuff, and apparently they're still dealing with it. I thought things had been resolved, but apparently not. And he's like, yeah, I want to stay here forever. I love the city. And he says, but you know, when people that you know basically he said when people that hold your fate in your hand in their hands decide that they don't want you here anymore, there's only so much you can do, kind of thing. Like I'm paraphrasing a lot, but anyway.
He's like,
I only want the best for the.
He did tweet later in the week. I said he did tweet later in the week something, or I don't know if it was Twitter or Instagram. I can't remember. Something about being at Sick Kids Hospital again. So
yeah, that was a couple days ago. Yeah, he's back at Sick Kids. So I was like, Anyway, so it was you know, you had like all these people sort of being like, hey man, Chris, this isn't the way to handle this. You know, like. Dude, step back, sort of thing. And
was it just a bunch of Midwestern guys like?
Yeah, totally.
Chris, come on, man.
That was the tone. That was the implied tone, but it's not like he hasn't done.
John Goodman was replying to him only.
He's taking a break from Roseanne filming, or whatever it is, the Connors. Sorry. But it's not like he hasn't done stuff like this before, right? Like every now and again, you know, Mavinga, what would he tweet out? He would tweet out like Kanye West lyrics or something. Do you know what I mean? Like he would do all that. People would just lose their mind, or Drake lyrics one time. And I was like, oh, what does it mean? Doesn't mean anything. It's just Chris Mavinga.
Why does no one ever tweet out Phil Collins lyrics?
No jacket required. Anyway. It was an interesting sort of interlude to the Toronto FC season. You know, he is the player that we know is up in the air contract-wise. We know that they are in talks, or were. Who knows now? But yeah, it was entertaining. It is sad that the Mavinga family is still dealing with stuff that have to be at Sick Kids, because obviously that played a part in his performance for part of the season. He was worried about his family, but yeah, it was a time, that's for sure. Chris Mavinga, never dull, never ever dull. However, moving on from that. Let's dive into a whole bunch of Canadian soccer stuff. Let's start off with one of our favorite things and Duncan's very favorite thing, which are sponsors.
Yes.
You can't, apparently. It's impossible. So on, God, what was it? It was Wednesday, Thursday? Anyway, a day last week, Friday. It was announced that the CanPL and Canada Soccer got themselves a new shiny sponsor, and not just any old sponsor. No, not a global brand associated with the sport of soccer. CanPL's official beer and non-alcoholic beer partner is Carlsberg. And they will be the front of jersey sponsor for York United. So long, local sponsor.
Local sponsor? Were they supported by Macron? Is Macron local to York?
Oh, no. They had the building company, didn't they?
Green Park or whatever it is.
Yeah, Green Park.
Green Park.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of, it was weird because I think they have like part of the team, but it was also like, oh, but it's local. Anyway, Duncan.
Oh, this is probably the best sponsorship in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. You know, it's some kind of well-known company that's done a bunch of other sponsorships and everything, and now they've apparently picked out Canada. So okay, I guess in that respect, it's a big high-profile thing. You know, well done to Canadian soccer business. I'm sure this will be a lot more money for you. No more money for. I don't know. Is like the Canadian national teams involved in this at all, or it's just
somehow because this does contribute to the CSA as well, so it should trickle down. There'll be a sponsor or something. They'll sponsor something, if not be like an overall sponsor. They'll have like a sponsored moment or thing at select men's and women's national team home matches, as well as some CanPL games.
Pairs with the Planters Nutsack of the Week.
Yes. I'm sure that the players involved will be delighted to do their bit for a sponsor that is presumably giving all their money to Canadian soccer business and not to them at all. Seems like the sort of thing they'd love.
Exactly.
But yeah, whatever. It's sponsors, all things nonsense.
So what I said before we started recording, and it is, and it feels weird to say this because again, I don't like sponsors either. I think they're odious for the most part.
Yes.
But I did say, and I mean this, I felt a little like, not like, I was kind of like, oh, like a recognized football sponsor, like something that is already associated with the sport. So part of me was
paints next.
Yes, exactly.
Sharp
candy. Yeah, exactly. But part of me was like, oh, well, at least, even though I know it's horrible and I don't like it at all, but and it's not another betting house, so there's that. It's going to look great on a YU guys kit.
Yeah, I feel like green and white is kind of Carlsberg colors, isn't it? So
yeah, it is.
Should work for
someone did I saw someone did a solid Photoshop of the Carlsberg logo onto the current York United kits, and it was like, that doesn't look half bad. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Alaska Airlines logo on the Portland kits.
Mm.
And it was like, that kind of looks like it belongs there. It was a bit unsettling.
Well, they could either do something cool like Copenhagen, or if they can find some old stock of those old Liverpool Carlsberg green away kits, they could just flip out the logo. Those. I guess Macron would demand that the three stripes on the shoulders would have to be ripped off, but
probably yes.
Just find a way to replace it with the celebrating guy logo that they have. I don't know what the fuck you call that. Like, hands up in victory guy. What they probably
if that's not his name already. It should be.
Yeah, Dwight.
Dwight,
the Macron mascot. He Yeah, put 3 of those over his shoulders. See what lawyers say about that. Just pass it.
You wouldn't call him Emmanuel?
Emmanuel. That's good. That was pretty good. That one's better than mine.
Oh, that's good.
Dwight's better for the North American audience.
Oh yeah, you can make it localization of your mascot. Sure.
Yeah.
With Ronnie, just Ron, but Scottish Ron, Mac Ron. It's really
Oh, damn.
stereotypical angry Scottish guy called Ron.
Just lean right into that. Yeah.
Ron Macron is the best.
Oh boy. Anyway,
I think we should only refer to them in their Scottish original tense now as Macron.
Yes. Macron. Yeah. Not Macron. No. Macron? No. Macron. Yes.
Clan Macron.
Macron.
Clan Macron.
Ron Macron of the Clan Macron. Yes.
Oh dear. So anyway, congratulations, CanPL. You got like a grown-up sponsor. Good job.
Speaking of CanPL kits and stuff, did you see the trademarks released for the potential trademarks for the Vancouver team?
For Vancouver FC? Yep, yeah. Saw that.
Yeah.
It's something.
For a second, I thought it was like It looked like an Aussie rules football team or something like that. Like it was clever and sleek, but it doesn't really say what it does. It's like, oh, okay, so it's a soccer team, sure.
Yeah.
Or I also thought it was like, oh, is this Carleton University Ravens or something like that? But that's clearly a V, so this makes no sense. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at.
Is it a Thunderbird or is it? I don't know. Like it looked like a raven, yeah, but I'm just trying to think what bird is it? Some kind of seabird? I don't know. I don't know what other birds. Vancouver's.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a bit of a sort of Stanley Park totem pole sort of bird thing look to it. I don't know if they're kind of like going for some kind of this kind of looks like it's maybe we're trying to like go for an indigenous thing or what. But,
yeah, interesting. It looked like it was like I like the little word mark that went with the third trademark. If you look down, there's like 3 of them, but the main logo, I don't know, something about it looks like it hasn't filled enough space in the circle.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. I see what you're saying.
Anyway, we'll see. Apparently they're having a some kind of announcement on November, I think it was 2nd or something like that. So where I think they'll unveil and when they unveiled it, it was black and white saying that, and then it was a red underline.
During all the reactions to the fact that Vancouver, and it just makes me laugh. Sorry, say it again.
You say it again.
Black and white and red all over.
That's a newspaper.
Hey-o.
I hate my internet.
I'm very confused as to what's happening here.
I don't know, but this
me too, because I missed half the conversation, so it was good.
It's okay. Usually, Kristin, this happens when you fuzz out, not when mid-response from us. So that was
okay.
That was a switch.
All right. Well, there you go.
What Mark's trying to say is only you sound crazy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Par for the course. All right. Well, let's move on from word marks and things and Vancouver versus Langley and talk about some CanPL awards because there's a gazillion of them. All right. So all of the various nominees have been announced. So there's 7 awards. Dear God, so many awards. And like one of them has like the players player of the year is 10 players. 10.
Is it brought to you by Player Cigarettes?
That is a long list.
Oh my God, it should be. Now, Players Light or John Player Special?
Which was the one that had the sailor on it?
Well, they all had a sailor on it.
Did they? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry,
Sorry,
I'm
I
not
smoked.
big on my
I smoked
Kristin.
players for years, for a
Sorry?
very long time. That was my brand when I smoked.
Does Tom know?
Shut up! I quit. You know that. I haven't smoked in forever. All right.
Were you in the Players Club?
No, I wasn't that cool. All right, so let's make some selections here. All right, the CPL, the Player of the Year. So this is the league's. This is the league MVP. So we have 5 nominees. We have, and this guy is nominated for like everything it seems. So Alexander Achinioti Janssen from Hamilton, Manny Aparicio from Victoria, Ollie Bassett from Ottawa, Sean Ray from Winnipeg, and Baloo Tabla, also from Ottawa. Make your selections.
Can we write in votes?
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying Manny Aparicio because I think Achinioti Jansson's going to get Defender of the Year. I think he'll be out Didic.
I'll say Tabla because people got Ottawa fever.
That's not a bad show. He had a great. He did lots of good things.
Let's see. If I think Aparicio is a solid shout. Yeah, I also feel like I'd be shocked if Achinioti Janssen doesn't get Defender of the Year. But yeah, I don't. Basically, this is the cop out. I don't think it's Becker, and that's the cop out. I don't think it's him. I know he's,
but he's not League Player of the Year. He's not in this one.
No. Oh, sorry, we're doing League Player of the Year. My bad.
Yes, this is. Yeah, I haven't gotten to Players Player of the Year yet. That's next.
Oh, that explains a few things because I'm like super confused. Maybe I'll edit this out.
I'm just reading off the article list. I'm sorry.
No.
My fault.
My
They've
bad.
smushed them next to each other.
I jumped the gun.
I see the article list that you put in the rundown there. The first one of them is the.
I'm so sorry. I opened up a different.
Player of the Year.
I opened up a secret different tab. I apologize.
Oh.
All right,
my fault.
Okay, so I'm not crazy then.
You're not crazy.
Okay, we've already gone over this.
So I'll
just
go
a
with
little
Aparicio.
unwell.
Sure.
Aparicio.
Okay, so now to the Players Player of the Year, which is the 12 gazillion nominees. Okay, so the 5 we just discussed briefly, and then Mo Babuli, Kyle Becker, Alejandro Diaz, and Ali Mousse, and Rubens Pacias. So out of those 10 players, this has been decided on. So this one isn't being voted by the media. This one is being voted on by the players. So
I'm going to go for Ollie Bassett, just for his courage in overcoming that amazingly bright ginger hair.
I thought you were going to say the courage overcome by moving from one championship team to another.
No. This is more just like, just look at that guy. That's some hair. That is bright ginger.
And wearing that kit all season too. That's true. That does take a certain amount of courage.
But yeah, that's my way of saying that I don't pay enough attention to have an educated guess on this.
See, I'm kind of a fan of Bassett. Small part, 10%. I'll say 10%, maybe 15%. 15% ginger solidarity. Okay, I will go with that. Not
Sure.
40% is that he looks like a cartoon character that came to life. Like something possibly from France or Belgium, somewhere in that area is where the cartoon came from. And And the other part is like I've seen him score a couple bangers all season, just watching highlight packages. And it's absurd. He's legit. Like he is absolutely legit. And just for like the I don't know. He on the webpage, it has everybody's photo kind of lined up side by side, and he just pops off the page because he looks like a cartoon character. So so like he jumps out at me. I would like to give a confused is it a honorable mention? So Mo Babuli, the first sentence should disqualify him. Considering his impact since rejoining the league, it is incredible to think that Mo Babuli played just 8 matches for York United. How the fuck is he nominated for anything?
Yeah.
He only played in 8 games. Well, again, but don't forget, this is the players' nominations, right? So
how thin is this?
They do whatever the fuck they want
because a quarter.
Apparently, there are no rules about this sort of thing. So
either that, or all the York United players just said, "You know what? Fuck it, we're gonna vote for one of our own," and they all picked not D-Row. So it's just okay. Or Desa. Like there's a bunch of good players. Or Insa, sorry. There's a bunch of good players on York, but they went with the guy who was here for less than a quarter of the game.
I mean, to be fair, by looking at that article, by the same thing that you're looking at there, just the next couple of paragraphs down, this guy was clearly the 15th best option for York. Despite operating largely as a number 1-0 for York. And presumably there's a 1A and a 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. And he's 1-0? Come on. He's like your 15th, 16th best player, whatever the letter O is in the alphabet. That's not a winner.
You're just talking science now. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, it is. It is very interesting though, just to see who the players have selected.
I hope they choose Woobins because it's just fun to say. Woobins.
One section of the stadium, whenever he scores a goal, they do the interlocking thumb thing like Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I don't know why that hasn't taken off everywhere because I think that's hilarious. And there should just be more Wu-Tang in football.
Yeah.
But agreed.
I don't know if he's player's player because he kind of he started strong and then fizzled out and kind of came back a little bit lately, but it's whatever the criteria that the players are deciding who they're voting for makes all the difference. So,
well, maybe it's actually not a Janssen then, because maybe players would appreciate a defender more than the media sometimes does. But then again, all that anti-Swedish sentiment out there.
Yeah, very, very heavily.
You know what? I'm going to give it to
anyone who's hurt their thumb on an IKEA won't vote for him.
No, you know what? I'm going to give it to Anthony Janssen as well. Sort of just like re-reviewing the list because of his performance this year, and the fact that he played out of position for basically the entire season or most of the season because of injuries and stuff, right? So he and just they didn't have anybody to play. So he's a midfielder. He didn't anyway, and he played incredibly well. He had a very good season. He's a lot of fun to watch. So you know what? I give it to him.
I mean, he played 27 out of 28 games for a Forge side that conceded fewer goals than any other CPL team this year. And he was a consistent rock in a lineup that was constantly changing due to injuries.
Wow, Tony, look at the analysis.
I know.
Brought to you by Literacy.
That's literally. Yeah.
Reading. Read words, reading.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to argue that Anthony Johnson was Forge's most valuable and best player in 2022. I mean, considering the heavy minutes he played and how instrumental he was to ensuring they finished second in the table, had to be him. Yeah.
I mean, Duncan,
the towering Swede. We have the two of you on this show.
Duncan, the towering Swede was also strong in the air and good in one-on-one defensive situations. Plus, Duncan, he scored Forge's first goal of the campaign, a header in their opening season loss to Pacific FC.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, Tony. A loss, congratulations, scored a goal, but still lost. I'm not sure I can get behind that argument, Tony. Yeah. I mean, it's well made, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Coach of the Year. Now it's now becoming a controversial award. 4 years in. Mark, would you like to lead the discussion on this?
Look.
Apparently not.
Well, that was drama.
That was drama.
This sucks. It probably should go to Gonzalez.
Right.
But only because of tradition. And I say that as jokingly as possible because Bobby's done so good and he's always a silver medalist. And that's unfair. So, the thing I genuinely see is that at some point in time, they're going to name this award after him. Probably posthumously because he'll explode on the side of a pitch side one night and they'll just have to do it because he never won it, but he was finished second like 7 seasons in a row. James Merriman, congratulations for getting your photo on this webpage. It's probably Gonzalez just because he came in and reassembled a very mediocre team into this team that finished first. So I don't know. I want Bobby to win, but at the same time too, I feel like every year he's finished second, you could make a strong argument why he finished second because the other candidate was far more not successful, but had a hell of a season. Like when Tommy Wilton Jr. and Bobby first season, sure, 50-50, flip a coin, whatever. Second season, Stephen Hart. Yeah, sure. Why not? He took a crap team, got him to the final. Third season, you know what I mean? There was always a really
There's always a reason, how do you deny Pamadou Call last year?
One of the other coaches just surges and it's okay, yeah, sure, you had a great season. It's going to happen again, guys. If Bobby doesn't win, I will not genuinely be surprised in the slightest. I'd be more surprised if he does win. I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to be Gonzalez.
Where's the glory in having the team that has all the players and the league fucking bends over themselves to, hey, let's help out this team and this team. Yeah, okay, you're the big team and yeah, congratulations, you did okay. You came in second or third again, whatever. There's no glory in that.
I know, but they should have an award for best
taking a team that comes from last to first. That's glory.
Best circumvention of the rules. That should be an award that's given to the executive who finds the way.
Sure, executive of the Hamilton, absolutely. Yeah, Coach, it's been given to him, laid out on the plate for him. He hasn't fucked it up. That's nice.
So anyway, yeah, that's congratulations, Bobby, on another really good season.
All these second places, very valid. Absolutely.
Yeah,
we wouldn't take that away from him, but
when they talk about silverware, they're talking about his mantle because it's all silver.
Aww.
Except for the plates. Some of those are gold. And microwave safe.
But yeah, as much as I'd love to say Merriman for, sort of managing to stay the course with, keeping or getting, Pacific back into playoff contention and all those sorts of things. And, he had not the easiest road to travel considering his team being gutted and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think for the turnaround and the season they had, I think it has to go to Gonzalez. and this isn't any shade at Bobby or anything. I don't see how it doesn't go to Gonzalez. I will be shocked if it doesn't. Just like, well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, under his guidance, the league's last place team in 22-21 climbed all the way to the top. And in the 22 regular season championship. And the fact that he was able to do so in his first year in charge, that must have been for players who just joined the club. It's impressive. It really is.
That's a good point, Duncan.
Thank you, Tony. I came up with it all on my own.
If I may add, it's not just the wins. It's that Ottawa developed a play style and an identity that led them to be the league's most consistent side in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they're good away from home as well. I mean,
for accessibility purposes.
Excellent away from home, you might say. And they set a new league record for points on the road. What was it? It was 28. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you for remembering that, Duncan. That's impressive. I'm really proud of you.
Hey,
I do appreciate that this is what we've become.
Basically,
we are now a reading service for the CanPL.
They were like that. Remember they used to read the news overnight on one of those like cable channels?
Oh my God, yes. I do remember that, actually. Those were great. All right. Well, let's move on to Defender of the Year. So we have the aforementioned Achinioti Janssen, Emmer Didic, and everybody's favorite, Zator.
Zator wins.
And the Masters of the Universe.
Zator.
Excuse me.
He's a zebra by day and a gator by night. Zator.
You know what? Anyone, honestly, I won't be upset if any one of these guys wins it. All three of them had really good seasons, and with obviously very different teams, but it'll probably be Janssen or Didic. But what? I said probably. I didn't say for sure, but Zator, was he the first league player to hit 100 appearances? Or he's one of the first. Anyways, he passed the 100 appearance mark this season. He played almost every minute for his team. So, and again, he's been he's been with the league since the beginning.
Actually, Achinioti Janssen joined teammate Carl Becker, just the second CanPL player to make 100 appearances for a club. So that guy clearly got there first. So that argument you were making for Zator is clearly actually an argument for Achinioti Janssen.
Well, I already said earlier he's probably going to win, but I do think there are arguments to be made for all three players.
Yes, the argument is from the African savanna to the Florida Everglades, Zator.
Oh my God! Just pick a player and let's move on to the next award.
Achinioti Janssen.
Zator.
Okay.
Zator.
Didic. Because why not? Okay. Goalkeeper of the year. This one's a bit strange.
Are they not goalkeepers that got nominated? It looks like all three of them are actually goalkeepers.
No, I think it's more. Well, no, he did anyway. I can go back and forth as to whether or not Callum Irving should be here, and I love Callum Irving, and he did have a hell of a season. But they did start leaking goals midway through the season, so we've got Callum Irving, Carduch, and Nathan Ingham, who's probably going to win.
I'm good with him. He's a good goalie.
Marcus, have you come to terms with 3 nominees?
Oh, I feel like the next best tradition between with Bobby finishing second is Henry
not getting nominated.
Yeah, it's like, to be fair though, like Henry's a very good keeper, but it's a case of there's always 3 keepers better than him. So, yeah,
he's. You know what? I like Kristin too, but he's just too inconsistent.
Yeah, and I was surprised to see Callum on here and not Giantsopoulos.
Yeah, I think that's where if it had been Giantsopoulos instead of Irving, I would have been like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
But I'll as much as I admire the crap out of Carducci, this is Ingham's.
Oh, it's Ingham's to lose for sure. If I'll be shocked if it's not if he doesn't get it.
Giantsopoulos was a wrestler. He'd be hailed from Mount Olympus.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
And he'd be the Giantsopoulos.
His backup should just be called Minisopoulos.
That's pretty funny.
Giantsopoulos. He'll tell you a new asshole.
Dear God.
It's back.
How?
He's big and he's Greek. Come on.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. All right. U21 player. So this one, you know what? I think this one's a bit of a toss-up too, actually. So you have Di Rosario the younger, so Osas. You've got Woobens, and once again, the Sean Ray, who I wish I paid more attention to Winnipeg, because he's just getting nominated all over the place. I know nothing about this guy.
Is he Sean Ray?
Who wants to know?
Wow. Kudos to anyone who gets that.
Oh, well done, Marcus. I had it in my head, but I didn't think to do it.
It took a second. I'm like, wait. I know that bit. I know.
Because we used to do that for what's his name? Finger guns. Alvaro.
Finger guns. Did we?
Finger guns. That sounds way filthier. I know it doesn't sound. It's not filthy at all, and it just sounds it. Hey, what up, finger guns?
It is an innocent comment about a goal celebration.
It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, you're the one that used to talk about it all the time.
Yeah, what's your point?
It's true. You probably weren't talking about it in an innocent way.
I was always only talking about it in a footballing sense.
Mm-hmm.
Good old finger guns. Anyway, Di Rosario has to win so his dad can jump on stage. We know this.
Snatch the award away from him.
I feel like we talked about this last week, but I'm going with Rubens, just because mainly not Di Rosario.
I kind of feel like Dero had a more even season. Like his consistency was pretty much the same from start to finish, output wise. Whereas Woobin, like I said, caught hot, got cold.
Mm-hmm.
So, so like it's to me, it's like while Woobins has wooed the shit out of me many times during the game. Yeah, thank you. For the season's worth of work, I'm giving it to Dero, but I love Woobins.
I think if Ray scored maybe like 1 or 2 more goals, but you do like he probably won't win. But if you look at like the balance of both assists and goals, like he set up he's 9 assists. That was a pretty big deal for a young player. And again, he's playing on the Winnipeg side that had, that small hot streak, which was nice, which is probably what, vaulted him into contention for this. But yeah, Rosario, like, he almost won the Golden Boot. It's one back from Diaz. So consistent play and being like, you're leading your team in goals, almost getting the Golden Boot, your, first full professional season. Yeah, I give it to him.
So to sum this up, Duncan says we don't need another D-row.
Yeah. He doesn't even know the way home.
Thunderdome.
Oh dear. All right. That's a lot of awards. And Alejandro Diaz obviously won the Golden Boot. So
I just wish I knew more words to that song, but I don't. I know exactly the song. I can kind of picture in my head, but can I sing along the lyrics beyond that particular line?
Can you not? Can you not picture Tina in her
Sure.
with her headdress and?
I can only think of her saying pig shit.
What?
Doesn't she say pig shit in that movie a lot?
Oh God! I'm like running through the song in my head. I'm like, what song are you listening to?
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't even.
Another pig shit. Yeah, I know. Talking about now. Sorry, it took a second, Tony. You got it.
Yeah.
Oh dear Lord!
Pig shit keeps on rolling.
All right. Well,
Pig shit would keep on rolling.
It probably.
I think so. Yeah.
Any
Pig
pig
shit rolls
that shits
downhill,
on a
man.
hill. Yeah, pig shit rolls downhill. There's your show name, Mark.
No. I'm going with finger guns. That one's because I'm saving the full of Tom thing for when people.
Oh Jesus Christ!
That was the title. I scratched. I was like, no, I think that needs to be saved. I think that needs to be. Not that anybody probably really pays attention to what the hell I named the show, but
In this episode, Kristin is full of Tom.
can you see the document? Thanks. You want to read the rest of it?
My God,
I'm gonna
she's
regret
full
that
of
for so
Tom.
long.
Anyway, yeah, it's fine.
Tom to Tom, Tom.
So many.
Toms.
All right, let's move on to Canadian men's national team. We talked about this last week, how we were like really hoping that they would have one more friendly before the World Cup, other than the match against Japan. And hey, guess what? They do. Playing the powerhouse that is Bahrain.
Make it Bahrain.
Make it food.
I hope Vic Router's doing the match so we can use that line.
No, Gareth Wheeler will be doing it, and Gareth Wheeler will
He will use that line, but it just won't.
Yeah, exactly, and horribly. He'll use
Coming out of Vic Router's mouth, it would be golden, but
Yeah, it's not the same.
no.
We watch Bahrain play Canada.
Blame it on Bahrain.
Yeah.
Here comes Bahrain again.
Oh, man, this doesn't end.
Wouldn't that imply
ultras
we've
must have,
already
like song after song.
I know.
we've already played them once?
No, because if they keep attacking in waves.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, I see what you're doing now.
Talk to me.
Like players do? No. All right. So November 11th, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Best time zone.
Exactly. They're playing, and oh God, it's in Manama. Oh, Manama.
Okay. So it's not actually in Bahrain or anything. So okay.
No, it's Manama,
will not be-
Bahrain.
Oh, okay. Whatever. So
And
then, they will be singing in Bahrain. They celebrate and what have you. Cut to some fans that are singing in Bahrain.
This is great. This may be one of the best things ever. have happened to us.
We're just giving their supporters group the I don't know what they're called.
Well, and if any commentators listen to us, we are giving you every we're you know what we've got a couple weeks before the match, so we should hold some in reserve, you guys. Just
I think we probably
whatever next song you're thinking of, don't. Let's save it till next week.
Purple Beret doesn't work at all, so it's fine.
Yeah. Why does it always rain on me? That doesn't work either. So. Yeah.
All right. Let's not force it. We got time.
Forcing it is what we do best.
Well, but we're very good.
What if one of the players gets injured?
Blame it on the rain.
Yeah, exactly. Alphonso Davies gets injured, can't play at all. Canada crashes out of the World Cup. Blame it on Bahrain. Absolutely. Yes.
Insane in membrane.
Ooh, insane in Bahrain. There we go.
It's insane. It's Bahrain.
Anyway, so it's good.
See, we can beat a dead horse and force it.
But we have at least another week to do this. So again, pace yourselves.
Fine.
I know.
Let's talk about penguins.
So no, Tony. So what you're trying to say is those of us who try to force it, try to beat dead horses.
Stop it.
Try to what?
Try to beat dead horses.
It's very good, but stop it.
Yeah, that's right. I want
Kristin,
raging against the machine over your
shit. Say it again, Chris. And Kristin, don't talk over his line.
Kristin,
how
Mark.
Rude. I have to put up with you yelling through my speakers that I have to fix afterwards. Anyway.
Mark, what was your line? I didn't hear it.
Oh, goddamn. Those of us who try to force it also try to beat dead horses. Trying to do
it's very good.
Thank you.
It's very good.
All right, we're going to move on from this now, though, because we still have a gazillion things to talk about in this show, and we're not nearly done. So,
we've probably peaked at the brain stuff.
It's true.
Yeah, we should just quit now.
Yeah. Probably.
So the women's national team, the WNT, the XNT, the draw for Women's World Cup next year in Australia and New Zealand was held in the wee hours of Saturday morning. And Canada came out pretty okay. They got one of the most favorable draws. They got host country Australia, who they played recently.
There was always going to be two favorable draws, and we got one of them. So, right.
So Australia, Ireland, and Nigeria have played Nigeria and Australia recently. And had, better luck against Australia, but had a different team up against Australia than against Nigeria earlier on in the year. But again, recent experience is nice. Some familiarity is good. Ireland, not exactly one of the top teams in the world.
Big R.
They're not, although actually they're ranked much farther ahead of Nigeria than I realized. So
fiddle dee.
Regardless, this is a favorable draw for Canada. They very much should move out of this stage quite easily.
Yes, I think with the expansion of everything, there's always going to be your fourth team is probably going to be. Not all that good, and even your third team, what have you. So it's about with the first two teams, Canada's obviously in the second seed. So which first seed did they get? Oh, they got one of the two teams that's actually worse than them. Perfect.
Exactly.
There's no excuse not to be winning that group.
Yep. So, huzzah! That's wonderful news. I put in the rundown. Dear gods, It's been a long day. TFC year in review, which we sort of touched on a little bit last year, and we didn't last week. I am really
Which year are we talking about?
I don't even know anymore. Last week, and I didn't really put any categories down here, so I'm just going to ask you three things.
Three.
Yes, only three. Normally this list is like 10 things long. Come on now. I want to know who your breakout or standout player was, who your most disappointing player was, and your overall thoughts on Bob Bradley. Now you can answer if you want. Should we do one question at a time, or do you want to just answer all three in turn?
Yeah, one at a time is probably makes more sense.
Okay, well then, who was your standout or breakout player of the season?
I guess, the first, let's be generous and say first half of the season probably would have been sort of Jesus Jimenez. But, Jesus Jimenez is obviously Spanish for unsustainable, and so it didn't work out. I feel like, what's his name, Petrasso did very well. When just talking about the breakout things, like look at the young players and everything, Petrasso was like the one that impressed me more than most of the others. So let's go with him.
Sounds reasonable.
This be slim pickings.
I know.
It seems cheesy to say any of the new guys coming in, but I guess Bernie, only because he was not the one everyone was talking about, and he was the more entertaining one.
Fair.
I'll give it, not that he was a breakup, but I'll give Lucas McNaughton a shout just for hanging on to his job. Not that he overly impressed or anything, but he was still playing center back pretty much at the end of the season, right? So not easy to transition into for a young guy, but that doesn't say much. Low bar, man, hard to choose.
Marcus?
It's kind of tough because it was so middling for almost the entire season. It felt like just never really got out of second gear. But I was quite happy with Jaquil Marcheretti with his contributions. Just like he's a child, he's a baby. I don't even think he can legally drink in the city, and he played pretty damn good. He still needs to work. Still has work to before he gets anywhere near a finished product. But I see why they're high on him. So, that's who I'll go with.
For me, kind of similar to what Tony said, except for Criscito. I expected so little from him. And I did not expect the type of play we got from him. I did not expect him to be rampaging up and down the wings. He's an old man. He's an old man, for that type of defender. He's got no business being that mobile and that speedy. Like, seriously. So I was and still am really pleasantly delighted. And in the initial goings, he fit in immediately. Like his very first match, it was like, oh, hello. Whereas even though out of the two higher profile players, Bernadeschi definitely had a better season than Insigne, and, fit in faster. But Criscito, like his very first match, it was bam, he was there. There was no issues, and doing good things and making an impact. So one of the reasons the team looked good at all in the summer was because of him, as far as I'm concerned. And then my more consistent season long, just because of the way he progressed, and no one's gonna be surprised to hear me say this, is Jaden Nelson. I think he came a long way this season, and I look forward to seeing what he does next season. Well, I look forward to seeing what both of them do next season. So, all right. Most disappointing player.
Lorenzo Insigne. A lot of hype, a lot of money. Oh, this guy's going to make a difference and going to fucking kill it. He didn't at all. Extenuating circumstances, sure, but that was nothing special.
Got to agree. It's yes, extenuating circumstances, and not saying the future next season won't look very different. You gotta hope it does.
Same here.
You gotta hope it does, and probably will. You would imagine it, but yeah, I think that just basing it on the great expectation that this guy would come in and tear it up from the get-go, it didn't happen. So it doesn't mean he's a bad player. It's not what we're saying. It doesn't mean it's a bust. But for this stretch of when he played, wasn't what probably what, if people are being honest, what they expected.
Man, that's a compelling argument. I think you've swayed me. I was going to go with probably the lowest hanging fruit, which would be the perceived number one keeper, Alex Bono. But I didn't have the expectation for him to like bounce back. But and I, we're all a sucker to hype. Let's be honest, but it didn't match, and that could be that he is new, had a whole season, whatever. There's any number of things. It also could be that the team around him isn't that good. But for what we were kind of expecting, which was somebody to run roughshod over this league, and didn't actually do it. I mean, that disappointed me maybe more on myself than him, but I'll go with it. I support Tony on this.
Well, I supported Duncan, so let's see if Kristin
no
supports
pressure
Smart.
at all.
No,
I feel particularly tall at the top of this raincoat right now.
I'm the torso right now.
Yeah.
I get to look out the little buttonholes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, is it going to be a tall raincoat?
I don't know. Like,
Kristin, you get to be the legs.
but I was gonna say. I was gonna say one of the other attackers.
Go on.
She can't do it. She can't turn on him.
This feels very much like a very much like a say the line Bart kind of situation.
Wizzle wazzle.
I mean,
Zip zap.
like I find it hard to pick on a player who already played a full season, although he did struggle more than the other two.
Didn't little Crisco play a whole season? You just gave him kudos.
I know, because he played very well. The other whole season year, it didn't seem to affect him. Oh, $14 million. I wish I didn't know how much he was being paid. Like, I was going to say Jimenez just for the drop off in production.
But what did you expect from him when he arrived?
I didn't expect anything like that. No.
So it can't be that disappointing. Oh no, what a conundrum. She's in a dilly of a pickle.
I really am. I don't know what to do here. This is terrible. Like, it should be one of the defenders, but the defense was so patchwork all season. I can't pick on Chris Mavinga anymore. Can I pick on Shane O'Neill?
No, Chris Mavinga pays attention or listens.
Or something. Yeah, I don't think he listens to comedy podcasts, though.
Hey, you may not see him, but he listens.
Yeah, it's true. Good point. I want to say, I think.
because
know,
this is
agonizing,
This is a
isn't
season
it?
cliffhanger. We should end the show here.
Will Kristin make a decision? How full of Tom is she? You'll find out. Season 2 of the Vocal Minority Podcast. Hit the music. Good job, everyone.
Oh, I'm gonna regret that until the end of time.
Until the end of
This
Tom.
podcast.
Stop it.
Till the end of Tom.
God damn it. Fuck. Fine, Insigne.
Oh, how dare you?
Shut it.
Oh,
Walsh.
Luga.
All right.
Kristin's the legs on the raincoat. Kristin's the legs on the raincoat.
Yeah, I'm used to carrying you lot around. It's fine. All right.
Oh,
Thoughts on Bob Bradley's season?
didn't go well, did it?
Not really. Now, how much of that is Bob is a shitty coach versus Bob didn't have the players he needed when he wanted them? Like, I will say this one thing, and I said this to my dad over Thanksgiving weekend, is that this season, in terms of Bradley's coaching style, reminded me a lot of Vanny's first season in full season in charge, when he didn't seem to know where to put people, and he was trying to like shoehorn players into some system, you know, and didn't know what to do with Michael Bradley, and just didn't seem to have a grasp on what these players should be doing, you know. And we saw some evidence of that, you know, with players being put out of position, partly because Toronto got rid of a bunch of players in those positions. But, you know,
You're talking about the fullbacks just because we had no fullbacks.
I am talking about that, you know, shuffleboard, exactly. You know, oh, you move him off to another, you shuffle him off to another team where he gets to play in the position he's good at. And oh, wow, look at that. He's decent. Now, yes, was playing with a better team. However, was also playing his position. You know, like that's a shining example right there. So, yeah. So is it, you know, and Vanny was a decent coach. Vanny wasn't a great coach. People need to like dial it back a bit when they talk about Vanny greatness, but are they the same coach, just in a different wrapper?
Or is he the next Aaron Winter? Who knows?
Well, let's hear some thoughts.
Daddy had a hard season, no doubt. But is Daddy waiting for transition? I don't know. Daddy needs his players.
Daddy does.
I was confused when you said you said to your dad at Thanksgiving. I thought you met him.
Oh.
I still listen. He's going to get ample chance to turn it around, but he's coasting on his name. If his name wasn't Daddy Bradley, people would have lost all their patience by now.
People already have from the interwebs.
I mean like on a far grander scale. I think it would be like, you know, Daddy out completely. Like I think there's hope that, you know, his pedigree is gonna bounce back with a better crop of players, but I don't know. For what I think he needs to succeed, it seems like the incoming amount of players necessary is above and beyond what TFC could pull off in one off season.
No, I disagree with. They have done it before, and they don't like to be this embarrassed more than one season in a row. Not anymore. Not since they decided to actually spend money.
Okay, so how many players do you think in the starting 11 you think they need to? How many positions do you think they need to improve on?
3 for sure.
Goalkeeper, centre
CB,
forward, both centre backs.
So
probably at least
three
one fullback. And then at that point, we're hoping there's no injuries ever.
To the midfield, yeah.
So we're
Hoping,
talking
that
four-
Mark Anthony
4 or
Kaye
5?
regains form and Jonathan Osorio is okay.
3, 4, 5, that kind of amount.
4 players for sure. Let's say 4 players. They need 4 players.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I would
that's
say 4 for the starting lineup, and let's
Couple
improve
more
the
for the
depth as
bench.
well.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's another challenge going into a new season is the betting in of that many new players, especially into the starting lineup. So I don't know. Daddy's got his work cut out for him.
Mm.
That he does. That he does. I tried.
I know. It was a solid try.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I also am willing to give him a longer rope than most. I don't feel like as much as we want a new manager to come in and make all the difference in turning shit around. You need actual talent on the pitch to do it.
Yeah.
And half of it didn't arrive until a third of the season, or 2/3 of the season had elapsed. So
the team got worse after the talent arrived 2/3 of the way through the season.
I mean, yeah, but my point is, if you were waiting on that to be the thing that makes or breaks his season, you've already fucked up the first 2/3. So
they were right there. They were right there after the first 2/3 of the season. And then the last third of the season is when it went to shit.
Yeah, but those decisions were already made. It wasn't like they were going to put a stop to that, and they weren't going to say like, "Oh, okay, we're doing well. Put the brakes on those guys coming in."
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we weren't. It's not that we were doing well. We were kind of scrabbling on. All right, we've got here, and we're kind of close enough that when the fancy, expensive guy comes in, it'll be great. And instead, it turned to shit.
That being said, I'm willing to give him more leeway. I mean, without question, he was like, that was the plan. These 3 guys show up, they play. I mean, at that point, they needed asses and seats, and it worked. That's unfortunate because they didn't win, but that's the business.
But you made a lot of money back, so
yeah. But anyway, I feel like I'm not so. The season wasn't so disastrous that it's like, okay, put him at the pasture. That's it. It's over. Give him. I'm willing. Like I'm well prepared to give. I give any gaffer 2 seasons unless it's a complete nightmare. Yeah. So I've got plenty of patience. I had patience for Vanny.
Yep.
I had patience for all of them because sometimes it takes a while to actually implement the thing that they want.
Yeah, I think
so I'll give him another season. Maybe he actually gets some of those journeyman players that we do not have anymore, and fills in those gaps with them because we need them. And if he can't do it with a well-equipped team, then yeah, okay, maybe 2 seasons the experiment's over. But he ain't at 2 seasons yet, so
yeah,
I'm
I'm same with Mark. We talked about this all year. Like this season, I didn't expect much from this season. There was times when I started to, because it was kind of like, oh, everything kind of looks competent. Maybe they can do something this season. And then they fell back to what really should have been the expected results for this team. Now, maybe not quite this shit, but this wasn't going to be a successful season for them. They flattered to deceive for a while, and they were coming off of a strange year last year. It's been a couple seasons of just what exactly are you all trying to do? And you remember how this works. It's kind of like the brain trust forgot how to do these things, or maybe believe the wrong people. But Bradley's always going to get at least 2 years to do this. I don't see, unless he has, whatever, an Aaron Winter-esque, start to the season next year, and Insigne blows his ACL playing, the T-terrorists or what, like if something like that happens, then maybe, but he gets all of next season to put this right as far as I'm concerned. And if they make it into the playoffs next year and don't look like shit, he gets 3 years. So
yeah, and you got. I mean, growth has to happen. I think the only thing. And again, this could very well be due to the type of players on the roster. The only thing coming into the end of the season, I still don't quite know what the
identity is. Yeah,
identity or philosophy of
agreed.
UFC football
and that's
is
the
right
concern.
Now.
But we also we sort of did with Vandy because he was really devoted to that fucking one system, which was useless. But yeah, no, that is my biggest sort of like, with LAFC, you knew what he was doing. They played a really distinctive style. So I
guess you could say that maybe is more player driven than like what he has available. But I don't know.
He's coming up to his Aaron Vinter / Ryan Nelson / Greg Vanny second full year. Didn't work out for the first two of them. Did work out for Vanny, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I would agree. We need basically a sort of 2015, 2016 off season when they just got sensible players. It was like Clint Irwin, Beta Shaw, Drew Moore, and Will Johnson. That's what we need. And they got, those signings worked out really well that year. Presumably they'll maybe be trying for that sort of thing this year, and we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Okay.
Or Ronaldo.
Okay. All right. Yes. Tell me more of this plan. No, I don't want to see him here.
Yeah, I mean, we got the Italian community locked up. Let's go after the Portuguese community as well.
No.
Surely they're still steaming after we didn't get Luis Figo.
Is Figo still? I know he's retired, but he's probably really good at 52 or whatever he's at.
Figo? Yeah, give him a run out. Sure.
Sure. Why not? All right. Well, let's move on to what's coming up, which is all playoffs all the time this weekend. We've got the conference finals for MLS and, of course, the CanPL final on Sunday in Ottawa. So MLS conference finals, as we said, we've got Philly hosting the Pizza Rats and Zombie Chivas hosting Austin Celtic.
Did you know this is only the first time since 2019 that an original team hasn't been in the Final Four?
Really?
No.
Wow, that is fascinating information.
Yeah.
Knowledgeable podcast.
I'm here for the education all the time.
We are an educational podcast.
Without an educational grant, go figure.
Yeah, I haven't seen that kind of tweet coming from Martin Bailey or anything. What's he doing?
Shots fired.
What's he doing?
That's man.
Yeah.
All right, so the rivalry I want to start, by the way.
So what's interesting about all the playoff matches this weekend is they are all on Sunday, and you can watch them all. So the Western Conference final is at 3 p.m. Eastern time. CanPL final is at 6, and the Eastern Conference final is at 8. You can watch all the games if you want.
Sunday.
Which honestly is just kind of cool, actually. I was like, man, everything's on Sunday, and then I realized that, oh no, it actually all works out, and there's that little 5 to 6 break. You can get some food or get outside for some fresh air or something.
We'll sell you the whole seat, but you'll probably need a couch.
Exactly. And a blankie.
And a commode.
All right. I didn't even ask for players to watch or anything from any of the MLS matches, but I do want to know, your winning team for each conference and the score. If you have a player to watch, feel free to throw that in too, but it's not required. So Philly versus the Pizza Rats. Who's winning? What's the score?
3-1 Pizza Rats.
Oh, Duncan. Team Chaos.
Yeah, they score 1 and then they just keep scoring more on the break.
Wow.
It'll be very similar to the Montreal game.
Jim Curtin denied again.
Right. It's tragic, really.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this reality at all.
I know.
Two
too
solo
real.
home runs. I'm saying 2 solo homers.
Dingers.
2 dingers. Pizza Rats 2. Union 0.
Oof.
What?
Okay, so I'm gonna go.
Come on, Mark, bring us back to reality here.
I'm bringing balance. 5-1 Philly.
Nice.
I'm taking both of their scores, combining them, and then flipping it.
You know what that is? That's
And I
a high
don't think
harmony.
they'll actually concede a goal. That's how pro Philly I am right now. So
That's a pro Philly high harmony is what that is.
back again.
I'm saying a 2-1 Philly win. So there.
Fair.
All right. Zombie Chivas hosting Austin Celtic. I'm expecting absolute chaos in this match and almost no defense. So, Duncan, this match is made for you. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hope so, yes. 3-2 Zombie Chivas.
Nice.
4-2 Chivas Zombies.
Same.
Gareth Bale, all 6 goals.
Well, you know he's playing in this one. Like, there's no, he'll be. Do you think he'll start actually, or is he gonna come on as sub in the second half?
Impact sub, I see.
Impact sub, you think? Yeah, but he'll play in this one for sure. But yeah, I say 4-2 Zombie Chivas as well. Marcus?
Just because I'm against Precourt, I still think he's a dick.
Yeah, no, they should never. I feel vaguely bad for their fans, but not really. They should never win.
Yeah, I know. Like for Austin's first professional team, you guys got Satan as an owner. Fantastic. Zombie Chivas 4, Austin Celtic. Absolutely. Can we give him a -3? So LA wins by 7. Like,
seems only fair, really.
I'm all about justice right now. So,
all right. Yeah, I hope I do truly hope that it does not turn out to be one of those anemic finals, just because like all the potential for absolute chaos in that one is there. Like the Philly Pizza Rats match should be a little more workmanlike. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, Pizza Rats can score goals, but Philly's got defense, so like it should be just more of a straightforward match, whereas LAFC and Austin should just be. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Be fun.
Me and Duncan love this league. We picked a LA New York final, which is the dream.
Yes.
We just want to see this league succeed.
Yeah. You're going to play up to the big markets. In Austin, has anyone really heard of Austin? How many people are in Austin? Not that many. New York, LA. That's where it's at.
Fucking Knicks and Lakers. All right, let's
Richard
move on.
Nixon Lakers? What?
It makes sense. Tony, tell him.
That's my favorite presidential basketball team. What are you talking about? The Richard Nixon Lakers. The Crooks. Up the Crooks.
You guys are the worst. All right, on to the CanPL final this Sunday in Ottawa, 6 p.m. One of the things about this match that happily has been dispelled or dealt with or whatever was this little squabble that was happening about ticket allocation for Hamilton fans that has been dealt with. So this whole, they're getting less than 100 tickets. That's not happening. Basically, from the looks of it, they're getting whatever they need in terms of what they're selling. And ticket sales for the whole stadium are apparently very brisk. It should be a fantastic crowd. Weather looks decent that day. Like, this should be
decent, or Ottawa decent?
No, decent.
Ooh.
Oh,
not just Ottawa decent, but decent.
Ottawa decent
is like
barely livable.
1 degree.
Let's be honest.
But yeah, like this has the and this, other than just like weather and attendance, which is a big deal. Like you want nice weather, you want strong attendance, you want good traveling support. But Yeah, like they're calling for like a high of 15 in Ottawa on Sunday right now.
That's midsummer
like,
Ottawa weather.
And sunny and not very much wind. So
get some beaver tails and go to the beach.
Right. But based on the two teams,
hang out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So other options available.
But based on the teams as well, right? Like Ottawa's obviously been like the class of the league all season. Hamilton, perennial final contenders, and just one, the team with all the money and all the players and all those things, right? So like this should be a good match. It should be a fun and exciting match, which is what you want for a final. So I don't know, Marcus, would you like to wax rhapsodic about your team?
No, not really. No, I feel, look,
sorry, no pressure.
If you listen to the last episode, I was not the most confident because Hamilton looked abysmal. And I see that abysmal for Hamilton because they've been dominant for so long and they've played really good, attractive footy over the last couple of seasons. But that stretch from about, I don't know, I feel like it was like late July to almost the end of the season was just unconvincing. And I thought, well, we finally had a good run. The league has figured us out. Now, not that Calgary was particularly good, but they looked really good over the two legs. Well, better the last leg than the first leg. But anyway, so I'm not as doom and gloom about this as I was last week. And the fact that Ottawa does not look completely infallible also gives me some hope. I still think this is Ottawa's championship to lose, but I do feel Hamilton's chances are way better than they were last week. So I will man, my brain instantly gave me 2-2 lose on penalties, which would be the perfect way for me to lose a season because I hate penalties and I never want anybody to do them again. So I will say, I'll say 2-1 to Ottawa, and the game winner will be in extra time.
Okay. Player to watch or players to watch?
That cartoon kid for Ottawa and
not Kyle Becker because he's suspended.
I was going to go with Chouanier the Greater. Yeah, I said David Chouanier.
That's an excellent choice, actually.
He's shown up a couple times. He showed up last game. He looked great.
Yes, he did.
So
he looked.
I'm expecting him to show up again because he's like a big game Charlie. So let him loose and see what happens. Watch him be on the bench. So anyway, but no, that's who I'm picking.
Big game Charlie.
Yep, there you go. Here's a new one. Add it to the book.
I'm going to go. It's going to be a dull and turgid defensive battle. So it ends 1-0 to, probably Ottawa. They'll get some kind of counter-attacky goal about 10 minutes from the end. And nope.
I have made a lot of hay on the show this year about how in our preseason I chose Ottawa as the team to watch. So with that, I am going to have to say that Hamilton will win this game, because if it gets the end of a season and I have chosen the team in preseason that wins the league,
serious?
It's really has to be an end of the show, because I'm the least qualified to choose such a thing, even in this group. So it has to be a 2-1 late winner for Hamilton.
Interesting. I did not expect you to say that at all. I am trying to a player to watch then.
Achin Yadi Johnson, who scores with his head in the 85th minute. Sure, why not?
I would be amazing.
Watch for it, Mark. It's going to be a scramble in the goal mouth.
That would be absolutely amazing. How dare you if you're a kiss of death?
I don't even know how to adjust any of this. I do think that Ottawa is going to win. I do think it's going to be 2-1. For Hamilton, you know what? Chouanier, he's just been fun. He's just been so much. He's been a lot of fun to watch. But for Ottawa, Drew Becky, because he's you know, you never quite know what Drew Becky's going to do, and I think that will be. Now I don't think he'll. Well, will he start? Yeah, no, he'll probably start. But yeah, I'm going to say Drew Becky. But 2-1 to Ottawa. All right, excellent. We have a nice, not all unanimous, which is always good. Well, that's it. That's our show. That's our show for this week. I know. Please join us next week when we find out who's going to be in the MLS Cup final. Celebrate, or we'll celebrate whoever wins the CanPL final. It's good for Canadian soccer. And then whatever else is happening in the world of Canadian soccer, because the way things are happening these days, we didn't even talk about Jersey Gate. So, you know, we'll talk about that next week. Be lots of things to talk about. Plus, we got to start talking about the World Cup, you guys. So get prepared for that too. We will actually talk about the World Cup. We swear.
Thought they canceled it.
They're still doing that thing? Oh, cool.
I don't know. It's my Twitter's been acting up. I don't know, but I'm optimistic.
We'll ask around and we'll let you know next week if it's still going on.
Fantastic.
I'm mostly a Gold Cup guy.
Yeah, that's true.
No, what about Nations League, man? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, look, after they dropped Intertoto, I don't even know why I even watched the shit. So
yeah.
Reasonable. All right. Well, that has indeed been our show. So please do join us next week when we talk about all of these things and more. Have been joined by the entire Vocal Minority Podcast panel, to be found out there on the Twitters at Duncan D. Fletcher, Mr. Duncan Fletcher.
Hello. As far as Jersey Gate goes, Davies better be like keeping this going for the team as a whole and not have it just be about him. Because if it's just about him, fuck off, guy. If it's a like sort of communal thing that, you know, he's going to sell most jerseys, he'll get the most out of it. But include everyone, Alfonso. That's all I've got to say for Jersey Gate.
Fair. Well, we'll start there next week then. We found out on the Twitterverse, Malarkey FC, Mr. Tony Walsh.
What do sheep say when the weather turns?
Bahrain.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh, the tweet machine at Kit Nerd Mark with a K, not a Q. Mr. Mark Hinkley.
Thank you to everybody who continues to support our podcast via Patreon. We absolutely appreciate it. We've got shirts. You can find that link on our Zazzle shop. You can find the link on our webpage. And I know I missed last week's YouTube video thing, but I had computer issues. Computer issues have been solved. I will be resuming putting those up onto our YouTube channel. You can just find Vocal Minority Podcast on your YouTubes. And if you're in the neighborhood, give us a follow, give us a subscribe so that we can have a proper ass name after the youtube.com instead of the series of letters and numbers we got. Please and thanks. Love you. Bye.
As As for me, you can find me on the internet. Yes, the entire internet at KZ Knowles. I have been your host, Kristin Knowles. And until next week, Canada, get used to it.